Hey, Tessa here from Green Angel, and today I wanted to talk about what are some of the items that you already have in your home that you can use as alternatives and that are going to help you live a zero waste lifestyle. So I'm going to share with you the 10 items, the top 10 items that you most likely already have in your home that you can start using when going on this sustainable living journey and that are so easy to implement right away. Now, the reason I'm emphasizing on the fact that you already have them in your home is because a lot of times you do have alternatives and you don't need to buy these new fancy shiny zero waste products that are a lot of times very expensive. So it's going to help you save money and actually live cheaper on going zero waste, and it's also going to help the environment because it's all about buying less, not more. So that's why we really put an emphasis on that. So let's get started with the first one, and these are obviously, you probably guessed it, reusable bags. Now, the reason I wanted to touch up on this one really quickly is because you most likely do have some kind of cloth bag that you already have in your house, and if you don't have it, you can ask some friends and family for one, or you can make one from an old shirt. There are a lot of tutorials that you can use that show you how to do that, or it's very easy. Or you can even, like, so many businesses give it all out as merchandise, so you can, like, you probably have one already from some business lying around to use. But try not buying a new cotton bag. Instead, try actually using one that's already been bought. I think that really makes a difference. And the second one is reusable water bottles. Now, just use a glass water bottle instead. Glass is so much better than plastic, also for your health. And if you don't have a glass water bottle, you don't necessarily need to buy one. You can use a mason jar. You can even use one of the old pasta glass jars, like just a used pasta jar, and that works just as well as a water bottle, to be honest, and it's just as effective. Now, number 3 is paper towel alternatives. And for paper towel alternatives, there are so many things you can use instead of paper towel. You can use old towels, like physical, like cloth towels. You can use old sheets. You can use old shirts, old curtains, old socks. It's not all about being aesthetic. It's about being more reusable. Obviously, if you want to make them more aesthetic, you can kind of DIY your own reusable cloths from these old materials that you'd otherwise throw away. So really think before you throw away materials. Can you use it for things like making towels to clean services so clean services with those reused items instead. Now, the next one the number 4 is the reusable coffee cup. And you can use just a glass jar as your coffee cup, a mason jar, or just like any kind of glass jar, and maybe if it gets too warm, you can put a headband around the jar, you can put a sock around the jar, a glove, any of these things. And you can see, I hope you're seeing how you can become quite resourceful with these kinds of things. I'm sorry if I'm going through the list a bit fast, but I really want to give you as much value as possible in the shortest amount of time. So let's move on to number 5, and that are those produce bags. So use cloth produce bags, and any kind of bag made out of cloth or with like string can work for produce bags to get your fruits and vegetables and put it in the supermarket instead of getting the plastic ones that they always give to you. For this, you can even use old sheets, old curtains, again, old pieces of clothing, just any kind of leftover fabrics you have. You can use that and even DIY your own produce bags. It might be a fun DIY project to do as well, and it's going to be very rewarding to you especially if you were going to throw it away already, or just ask people around you if they have leftover cloth that you can use for such projects. Now, the next one, number 6, is reusable utensils. And for reusable utensils, you don't necessarily need to buy the expensive bamboo ones. If you really don't have utensils, then you can do that. But you can also just use the ones you have in your kitchen already, like the stainless steel ones most people have. you can just use those, or just use the plastic ones you already have in your kitchen. Now you don't need to just simply throw the plastic away simply because you have the plastic. If you already bought plastic, then simply use it until it's really broken to already extend its life cycle. So just be creative of using utensils instead that you already own. Now the next one is to-go containers. A lot of times these pretty stainless steel to-go containers are again very expensive, and you don't need to buy them. Chances are that you already have something you can use as containers at home. Maybe some other old plastic ones you bought a while back, or maybe some kind of mason jars work very well, or other kind of glass jars you can put your food in as well. Start being creative and using those kind of alternatives instead. And I hope you can see that it's really not about buying new things, it's about kind of being resourceful with the items you have in your home and trying to extend the life cycle of the items you already own. And the next one is straws. And with straws, so this is number 8, the easiest thing to do is just stop its use. If you don't want to buy reusable alternatives, because they can become quite expensive as well, just stop using straws. Chances are we don't actually need straws if we think about it. We can sip from a glass, but if you do really want them, then obviously you can buy the reusable alternatives, but you don't have to. And number 9 is reusable tissues. So tissues is something that you're on the go and you need to blow your nose or something like that, or you have a stain somewhere. It's easy to forget to that this is something that's also quite wasteful. So instead of that, make your own tissues. Make your own handkerchiefs from pieces of cloth or something like that, like they did in the olden days. And this can be something quite cute and classic to go back to. So you can DIY it yourself instead, again from the scrap paper cloths that you have in your home, either curtains, clothes, whatever there is. Really you can use for this. And the last one is plastic wrap alternative. So this is a very bad thing that over leftovers or over half open pieces of fruit, a lot of times people put the plastic wrap, which is really bad for the environment. Instead of that, just put a plate over dishes instead. Put something in a bowl and then put a plate over it. It works just as well. Or you can use a damp towel over things such as pasta and rice as well, if you want to keep the moisture in. But these are really great alternatives, and you don't even need to buy all the fancy expensive plastic wrap alternatives. Just use a plate or a towel. That can work just as well instead. So as a last little bonus thing, I wanted to give you this kind of zero waste on the go kit that you can bring. So every time you're on the go and out and about, that's when you most likely produce the most waste. So it's always useful to have a little kit with you of products that's going to help you out. And the best thing to always bring with you are some utensils, some cloth bag, a glass water bottle, a reusable water bottle, and some cloth napkins as well. So this is your kind of top 4, your 4 items zero waste on the go kit that you can just always make a habit of taking with you when you go out of the house. So I hope this video was useful, and I really advise you to read the book An Almost Zero Waste Lifestyle. It's so nice and it's got so much information, and some of my notes came from that book, and I definitely advise you read it because it's great if you have the time. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.